Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So this video is going to be a discussion type video where we're going to discuss some of the impacts Archaeology has had on RuneScape 3. So as all of you most likely know, Archaeology was probably one of the biggest single updates in RuneScape's long 20-year history. There was so much hype going into the launch of this new skill, and I would say it lived up to the expectations of most players. Since Archaeology has been in the game, we have seen quite a few major changes within RuneScape 3 and even its community, so let's talk about it. So the first noticeable difference for me was the amount of players that came back to RuneScape 3 to try out this new skill, and better yet, it does seem like a significant amount of these players are staying too. So as you can see, we have around 45,000 players on average per day for the past month. RuneScape 3 line is the yellow one, so you can see that it did jump up around March 30th because of Archaeology. And this is actually really impressive. We haven't even had 45,000 active players on average this consistently since 2013. That was 7 years ago. So that's how significant the player count has risen lately. And although I might not attribute all of this to Archaeology, the global pandemic going around and forcing people to stay at home would also contribute to this as well. But for the most part, it does seem like it is Archaeology, since that jump did happen on March 30th. So that is one huge change that has happened since Archaeology has been released. And as you can see here, we're at the highest we've been since 2013, which is at the start of this graph. It is pretty impressive how high the active player count has increased just because of this one update. But I will say they definitely got it right. It is a really fun skill, and it definitely does add a lot of new content for players to try out. And the best thing is, it does seem like the players are staying. It has been a month since Archaeology has been released, and we're still at around 45,000 players on average. So that is really, really nice. Now, another exciting thing to think about regarding this is that Jagex actually came out and said that the closed iOS beta for RuneScape 3 Mobile will be coming out in the next few weeks, which means the full release is hopefully coming sometime this year. And I would imagine that once this is fully released to all iOS members, it should really boost the active player base count. As we saw with old school RuneScape, you can see here on the graph that there was a huge jump when that came out, so hopefully the same happens for RuneScape 3 as well. Now moving on to some actual game changes. So first off, along with Archaeology came Ancient Summoning, and it allows you to summon new powerful summoning creatures. And these familiars, especially the Ripper Demon, look to be an amazing improvement from the Steel Titan in terms of damage per second. So upon release, the Ripper Demon could deal up to 100,000 damage per minute, although it has been nerfed now, so that is a lot lower, and this clip here is after the nerf. But even though the Ripper Demon was nerfed, it still is the best in slot combat familiar to use. It's way better than the Steel Titan still, and if you are using the Death from Above scrolls, then you will get much more damage per second. These scrolls add on extra damage depending on how low your health is, so super useful there if you use those as well. So essentially with this coming into the game, it makes PVMing and bossing a lot easier. Your kill times are going to be going down and you'll essentially make more GP per hour. So that is something that has changed a lot with the release of Archaeology, and there are also some other ancient summoning familiars as well. There's the Water Fiend, which is super useful for gathering skills. There's also the Hellhound, which is a pretty nice budget combat familiar that you can use. And then, of course, the Calgarian Demon and the Abyssal Demon, they also have their own uses. But overall, I would say Ancient Summoning has impacted the game a lot in terms of the PVM and bossing community. You could even say that it sort of changed the meta somewhat. The Ripper Demon, especially, as I said, it is one of the better familiars in the game now and is probably best for a lot of different bosses. So that being said, it has changed that part of the game significantly. Another really impactful change that came into the game was also Ancient Invention. So Ancient Invention adds a lot more things to Invention. You can now get an extra rank on basically all of the previous Invention perks. This includes some of the better ones like Scavenger, Crackling, Biting. These perks are really great for PvM, and it will boost your DPS or whatever depending on the perk. So it does make perks a lot more useful. Now there are also a few new Ancient Invention perks that you can add on as well. So there's Relentless, and the max rank for this is 5, and as you can see, it has a 1% chance per rank to prevent adrenaline from being consumed when using an ability that requires adrenaline. You can see that this is super useful. It could actually prevent you from using your adrenaline when you're using ultimate abilities. That would be amazing. So you can see this is a really useful perk and will be useful in basically all PvM situations. Now, there are also a few more perks. So there's Ruthless, and this is whenever you defeat an enemy, you gain 0.5% damage boost per rank for 20 seconds. This has a lot of good potential uses, especially when you are killing a lot of enemies consecutively. You can see that this will really stack up a lot. And then there's also Fortune. So Fortune has a 0.5% chance per rank on a gathering skill and a 0.1% chance to rank on a production skill to double and bank what you have gathered or produced. So this is super nice. It is a pretty low chance that you'll actually get it, since you can only go to max rank 3, but still it is really useful. So Ancient Invention, it has impacted the game in many different ways. It has made better perks, which are useful for both PvM and skilling. Your DPS, when doing PvM, you can add on some better perks. You can get Biting 4 and Crackling 4, along with these new perks that have came into the game. You can see that they will help a lot in some bossing situations. So that being said, it has really impacted the game in many different ways. And so lastly, I wanted to talk about the Relics, which is something else that has came along with Archaeology. They're basically the rewards you can get while training Archaeology. And you can see that they have some really good uses. For example, the Heightened Senses relic here, it will increase your maximum adrenaline by 10%. That is super useful when doing any bossing or PvMing, and all these relics have different powers. Some of them help you when training. As you can see, a few there gave you extra XP when you're training. This one here, when you use an ultimate ability, you get 10% adrenaline back. Berserker's Fury, super useful for PvM. So basically all of these relics, they are going to be really useful into the game, and they're going to have their own unique impact. Some of them are going to help for PvMing, like Berserker's Fury and the 2 that affect the adrenaline. Those are all super useful. And then there's a lot of other relics that affect sort of skilling, and you'll get some XP boosts. You'll get some others that will affect skilling in their own unique way. And as you can see here, there are 7 new relics that will affect your combat. So these will be super helpful when doing PvM and bossing, especially the Conservation of Energy, Heightened Senses relic. There's also some that will affect skilling as well. So as you can see, all of these are pretty cool. I like Always a Daze. That's kind of a unique one. When woodcutting, you'll always burn your cut logs and get immediate fire making XP. Super useful for skilling. Then there's also the luck enhancers and the experience multipliers. These are pretty good as well, especially the experience multipliers. Getting plus 2% more XP is always pretty great. So these relics, they're super powerful, and they will impact the game in their respective categories. Now, along with the active player base going up, and also Ancient Summoning, Ancient Invention, and the relics, also, there is another impact that Archaeology has had on RuneScape 3, and that is basically the economy. So a lot of these new items put into the game, they are currently pretty unstable, and even with the relics, you need some items that were previously into the game, so the prices for those have skyrocketed. Basically, the prices of many different items in the Grand Exchange, they have changed drastically since the release of Archaeology. For example, energies have increased a ton since people are trying to make Sign of Porters. And then there's Chinchampas, they have increased a ton as well. So basically the prices on a lot of different items, they are pretty unstable right now. And that being said, it does actually offer a lot of different flipping opportunities as well. So if you guys are into flipping or know how to do it, you can definitely check out many different items since the prices are pretty unstable right now. There's pretty high margins in there as well. Anyway, guys, I really hope you did enjoy this video. If you think there are any changes that Archaeology has done to RuneScape, definitely let me know in the comments down below. I want to know your guys' opinions and also your opinions on the skill in general, and if you like these impacts on the game. I know I really like that the player base has gone up. More people are playing the game. It has been a blast playing through Archaeology with the community. You can see that basically everyone is trying it out and we're all learning the skill together, which is just loads of fun. Anyway, guys, I really hope you did enjoy this video. And if you did, hit that thumbs up button, and maybe I'll see you in the next one. Peace.